George, now everyone's going to think we're gay. Jerry, not that there's anything wrong with that. George, no, not at all. What Jerry and George didn't do was sue the publication for libel. But celebrity fitness guru Richard Simmons did after the National Enquirer and Radar Online wrongly reported he had transitioned to a woman. Last week, a judge in Los Angeles ordered Simmons to pay his opponent's legal bills after ruling it was not defamatory to say someone is transgender. Because, well, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a remarkable decision. Just as courts over time have found that it's no longer defamatory per se to say a person was born out of wedlock or has cancer, or to incorrectly report someone's race, so too Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Gregory Kiozian determined that misidentification of a person as transgender is not actionable defamation absent special damages. The article in question was published on June 8, 2016 with the headline Richard Simmons, he's now a woman. According to the story, Simmons has undergone shocking sex surgery to change from a man to a woman, was now living as a gal named Fiona, and has slowly transformed into a female with breast implants, hormone treatments, and medical consultations on castration. I can accept that's not defamatory per se, but would you want someone to write that about you if it wasn't true? Didn't he think so? Simmons, represented by Neville Johnson of Johnson & Johnson, and First Amendment scholar Rodney Smalla, the Dean of Delaware Law School, sued the publications on May 8, 2017. The Enquirer also said it stood by its story, which was based on credible sources who were in Mr. Simmons' inner circle. Kiozian sided with the Enquirer, and greenlighted them to request legal fees. In what he called an issue of first impression, the judge wrote that being misidentified as transgender is not libelous per se because such an identification does not expose any person to hatred, contempt, ridicule, or obloquy, or which causes him to be shunned or avoided, or which has a tendency to injure him in his occupation. While, as a practical matter, the characteristic may be held in contempt by a portion of the population, the court will not validate those prejudices by legally recognizing them. He continued, the court does not mean to imply in its holding that the difficulties and bigotry facing transgender people is minimal or non-existent. To the contrary, the court has reviewed the evidence submitted by Simmons regarding the deplorable statistics relating to transgender people. Nonetheless, Kiozian concluded that his decision is consistent with holdings that misidentifying one's race, medical condition, or sexual orientation is not libelous per se simply because there exists a portion of the population that expresses prejudice towards those groups. As a judicial holding, it is a victory for the transgender community. But it still seems unfair that Richard Simmons must literally pay for it. Contact Jenna Green at jgreen@. On Twitter at jgreenajenna.